When the rain started, the family finally agreed to dig. It had been raining for 3 days straight. Not the kind of rain that floods streets or knocks out power. This rain was different. It was steady, patient, like something was waiting. The old house sat at the edge of the province, surrounded by bamboo and tall, bending grass that whispered even when there was no wind. It had belonged to my grandmother's family for generations, and behind it, at the far end of the property, stood a single grave. No name, no date, just a stone marker pressed deep into the earth. My grandmother never spoke about it. Whenever we asked, her face would harden, and she would say the same thing. Some things are buried for a reason. She died in her sleep last winter, and that's when the dreams began. At first, it was only my uncle. He would wake up gasping, claiming he heard scratching beneath the floorboards. Not rats, not termites, scratching, like fingernails dragging across old wood. Then my cousin began waking with dirt under her nails. Actual soil. We tried to find a logical explanation. We blamed stress. Grief does strange things to people, right? But then my mother found water pooling in the hallway. Dark, muddy water, right in the center of the floor. Even though there was no leak, no broken pipe. The rain hadn't even reached the house yet. It was as if the ground beneath us was sweating. That's when my uncle finally said what no one else wanted to. We need to move it. He didn't say what. He didn't have to. In our culture, graves are sacred. You don't disturb the dead unless there is a great imbalance. But imbalance was exactly what we felt. The air inside the house had grown heavy. Food spoiled overnight. The dogs refused to go near the backyard, whining and cowering at the door. One evening, I walked past the rear window and saw something I still can't explain. The grave marker, it was tilted, not fallen over. Tilted, as if something beneath it had shifted. That was the last straw. We called a ritual specialist, an old woman with silver hair braided tightly down her back. She arrived before dawn, carrying incense, bells, and a leather-bound book that looked older than anyone in my family. She didn't step into the house at first. She walked directly to the grave, stood there, silent, for a long, long time. Then she turned to us and asked, "Who buried him?" The word felt wrong. Him. We had never known who was buried there. My uncle shook his head. It was always here. The old woman's eyes narrowed. "No," she said softly. "He was put here." She circled the grave 3 times, muttering words under her breath. The air around us grew colder. The rain, which had been constant, stopped. Silence. When she finished, the old woman refused to look at me. She packed her things without another word. Before leaving, she said only one thing. "Some seals break slowly." We dug it up the next day. The rain had made the ground soft. 4 of us, shovels in hand, working in silence. The deeper we went, the colder it got. The smell hit us first. Not decay, it was the smell of wet earth and something else, something metallic. We found a simple wooden box, bound in iron chains. The chains were rusted, but they held. My uncle, stubborn and determined, used bolt cutters. The snap of the metal echoed in the quiet yard. He lifted the lid. Inside there was no body, no bones, just a single large, dark stone, perfectly smooth, lying on a bed of what looked like dried leaves. We stared at it, confused. This was it. A rock. My uncle, furious at the anticlimax, grabbed the stone and hurled it into the bamboo forest. He spat on the ground, kicked dirt back into the hole, and we all went back inside, feeling foolish. That night, the scratching was louder. It wasn't just under the floorboards anymore. It was in the walls, in the attic. It sounded like it was coming from everywhere at once. The house was filled with the sound of 100 tiny claws trying to get in. We didn't sleep. We sold the land a month later. No one wanted to buy it at first, not with the local rumors starting. Until a developer offered cash. They planned to build condominiums there. Hundreds of families, hundreds of new foundations dug deep into that soil. We took the money and we ran. We scattered across the country, trying to forget, trying to start over. For a while, it seemed to work. The scratching stopped. The nightmares faded. Then, last week, I received a letter. No return address. Inside was a small stone. Dark, smooth, cold to the touch. The same kind that had marked a grave. And underneath it, a note. Just 3 words. You opened it. Now, every night when it rains, I hear scratching beneath my floorboards. Not loud, not violent, just patient, waiting, and I know, deep in my bones, that whatever we let out, it's only just getting started. It's no longer tied to the land, it's tied to us. Thanks for listening. If you have stories like this, I'd love to hear them. Follow for more.